Yeah, well, but I liked you right away
Did
when...
he tell you that I had said that you should...
That we should make out?
Well, no, it was after that. I just looked at the show and I said,
No.
She is really, really good.
You know, some secrets in Hollywood are kept locked away for decades. Some stories are so personal, so deeply emotional, that even the biggest stars wait a lifetime before they finally open up. And today, we're talking about one of those stories. At 88 years old, Warren Beatty, the man who was once called Hollywood's greatest lover, the actor who dated some of the most beautiful and talented women in the world, has finally revealed something that's been weighing on his heart for years. He's named the one woman he regrets losing. And trust me, when you hear who it is, your jaws go to drop. This isn't just another Hollywood romance story. This is about real love, real loss, and the kind of regret that sticks with you for a lifetime. So stick around, because what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about Warren Beatty. Let's start at the beginning. If you don't know much about Warren Beatty, let me paint you a picture. This man wasn't just another handsome face in Hollywood. He was the guy. Born in 1937 in Richmond, Virginia, Warren grew up with his sister Shirley MacLaine, who also became a huge star. From the moment Warren stepped into Hollywood in the late 1950s, everyone knew he was special. He had this incredible charm, those piercing eyes, and a smile that could light up any room. But it wasn't just his looks. Warren was talented, really talented. He could act, he could direct, he could produce. He was a whole package. In the early days of his career, Warren exploded onto the scene with a movie called Splendor in the Grass in 1961. He was only in his early 20s, but he was already being compared to legends like James Dean and Marlon Brando. Then came Bonnie and Clyde in 1967, a movie that changed cinema forever. Warren didn't just star in it, he produced it too. That's the kind of guy. He was always in control, always pushing boundaries. Throughout the 70s and 80s, he kept delivering hit after hit. Shampoo, Heaven Can Wait, Reds, which he directed and won awards for. The man was unstoppable. But here's the thing about Warren Beatty that everyone remembers just as much as his movies. His love life. Oh boy, his love life was legendary. We're talking about a man who dated nearly every major Hollywood actress of his time. And I'm not exaggerating. The list reads like a who's who of Hollywood royalty. We're talking about Joan Collins, Natalie Wood, Leslie Caron, Julie Christie, Diane Keaton, Madonna, and so many more. Some reports say he dated over 12,000 women throughout his life, though that number seems pretty wild and probably exaggerated. But still, the point is clear. Warren Beatty was known as much for his romantic conquests as he was for his acting skills. For decades, Warren seemed like the ultimate bachelor, the guy who would never settle down. Every magazine wanted to know who he was dating. Every gossip column had a new story about his latest romance. Women fell for him left and right, and honestly, who could blame them? He had everything going for him. But despite all these relationships, despite all these beautiful, talented, incredible women who came into his life, Warren seemed to always keep moving on to the next one. It was like he was searching for something he couldn't quite find. Then something unexpected happened in 1992. Warren Beatty, the eternal bachelor, the man everyone thought would never get married, actually got married. And not just to anyone. He married Annette Bening, a brilliant actress who was 21 years younger than him. They met while filming a movie called Bugsy, where Warren played a notorious gangster. Bugsy Siegel and Annette played his girlfriend. The chemistry between them was electric, and apparently it wasn't just acting. Something real happened between them on that set. Warren was 54 years old when he married Annette. She was 33. And you know what? Their marriage shocked everyone. People thought it would last maybe a year or two. How could Hollywood's most famous playboy suddenly become a family man? But here's the beautiful part. Warren and Annette proved everyone wrong. They've now been married for over 30 years. They have 4 children together. By all accounts, Warren became a devoted husband and father. He stepped back from making movies as much. He focused on his family. It seemed like Warren Beatty had finally found what he was looking for his whole life. For years, everyone assumed that was the end of the story. Warren found his happy ending with Annette, and all those other relationships were just part of his past. Water under bridge. But recently, as Warren has gotten older and more reflective about his life, he started opening up in ways he never did before. And that's when the bombshell dropped. In a recent conversation, Warren admitted something that nobody expected. Despite his happy marriage, despite finding love with Annette, there was one woman from his past that he still thinks about. One woman he regrets losing. One relationship that he wishes had turned out differently. So who is it? Who is this mystery woman that still haunts Warren Beatty after all these years? Is it Joan Collins, the stunning British actress he dated in the early 60s? They were engaged at one point, you know? Or maybe it's Natalie Wood, the tragic beauty who he had an intense relationship with? Perhaps Julie Christie, who many consider to be one of his greatest loves. They were together on and off for years. Or could it be someone completely unexpected? Someone nobody would guess? The answer is going to surprise you. The woman Warren Beatty regrets losing is Diane Keaton. Yes, that Diane Keaton. The quirky, funny, incredibly talented actress who we all know and love from movies like Annie Hall and The Godfather and Something's Gotta Give. And when you think about it, this revelation is absolutely fascinating because Diane and Warren's relationship was different from all his other romances in some really important ways. Let me tell you about Warren and Diane. They met in the early 1970s when both of their careers were taking off. Warren was already established as a major star, but Diane was still relatively new to Hollywood. She had just done The Godfather and was starting to make a name for herself. They worked together on a movie called Reds in 1981, this epic historical drama that Warren directed, produced, and starred in. Diane played his love interest in the film, and their on-screen chemistry was undeniable. But their relationship went much deeper than just a professional connection. According to people who knew them, Warren and Diane had something really special. They understood each other in a way that was rare. See, Diane wasn't like the other women Warren dated. She wasn't just beautiful, though she certainly was. She was smart, funny, independent, and creative. She had her own ideas, her own career, her own dreams. She wasn't interested in just being Warren Beatty's girlfriend. She was Diane Keaton, a force to be reckoned with in her own right. Their relationship lasted for a while in the late 70s and early 80s, but it was complicated. Warren was still very much in his playboy phase. He wasn't ready to commit to anyone fully. Meanwhile, Diane was building her own incredible career. She won an Oscar for Annie Hall in 1978, playing the quirky, lovable character that would define so much of her image. She was working with Woody Allen, Francis Ford Coppola, Warren himself. She was becoming a star on her own terms. The thing about Warren and Diane was that they genuinely cared about each other. This wasn't just another Hollywood fling. They had deep conversations. They challenged each other creatively. They made each other laugh. People who saw them together said there was a real warmth between them, a real friendship underneath the romance. But timing is everything in life, and their timing was off. Warren wasn't ready to be the man Diane needed him to be, and Diane wasn't willing to put her life on hold waiting for Warren to figure things out. Eventually, they went their separate ways. Diane moved on with her life and career. She never married, actually, which is interesting. She dated other people, including Woody Allen and Al Pacino, but she chose to focus on her work and eventually adopted 2 children as a single mother. Warren continued his bachelor lifestyle for another decade until he met Annette. And for years, it seemed like that was just how things worked out. 2 people who cared about each other, but whose paths took them in different directions. So why is Warren bringing this up now? Decades later? Why is he admitting that he regrets losing Diane? Well, according to sources close to Warren, as he's gotten older, he spent a lot of time thinking about his life, his choices, his relationships. And while he loves Annette and is grateful for his family, he's realized that his relationship with Diane was unique. It was different from all the others. With Diane, it wasn't just about the physical attraction or the excitement of a new romance. It was about connection. Real, deep connection. Warren has apparently said that Diane was the one who truly understood his artistic vision. She was the one who could match him intellectually. She was the one who didn't just go along with what he wanted, but challenge him to be better. And he's realized, looking back, that he let her go because he was scared. Scared of commitment. Scared of settling down. Scared of choosing one person when there were so many options out there. And now, with the wisdom that comes with age, he sees that as a mistake. Here's the really emotional part of this story. Warren and Diane have remained friends over the years. They didn't have some bitter breakup, where they never spoke again. They've stayed in touch. They've supported each other's careers. Diane has even spoken fondly of Warren in interviews over the years, calling him brilliant and talented, and saying nice things about their time together. But there's always been this sense of what might have been hanging over their relationship. In one recent interview, Diana herself was asked about Warren, and she got this look in her eyes, this sort of wistful, nostalgic expression. She said something like, "Warren was special. He'll always be special to me." And you could tell there was still affection there, still a bond, but also an acceptance that their romantic story ended a long time ago, and life took them both in different directions. What makes this revelation so powerful is what it says about love and regret and the choices we make in life. Warren Beatty had everything. He had fame, fortune, incredible talent, and the attention of countless beautiful women. He lived a life that most people can only dream about. But even with all of that, even with a successful marriage and a loving family, he still carries this regret about Diane. It shows that no matter how much success you have, no matter how perfect your life looks from the outside, there are always those moments, those people, those choices that haunt you. Think about it from Warren's perspective. He's 88 years old now. He's had an amazing career. He's been married for over 30 years to a wonderful woman. He has 4 kids who he loves. By any measure, his life has been successful and fulfilling. But there's still this part of him that wonders what would have happened if he had been ready for Diane when they were together. What if he had overcome his fear of commitment 10 years earlier? What if he had chosen Diane instead of continuing his bachelor lifestyle? Would they have built something beautiful together? Would they have been happy? We'll never know. And that's what regret is all about, isn't it? It's about the unanswered questions, the roads not taken. And think about it from Diane's side, too. She's 78 years old now and has had her own incredible life and career. She's won an Oscar, directed movies, written books, adopted 2 children, and lived life on her own terms. She's never expressed any bitterness about Warren or any of her past relationships. She seems genuinely happy with the choices she's made. But you have to wonder if she ever thinks about what might have been with Warren. Does she have her own regrets? Or has she made peace with how things turned out? The truth is, stories like this remind us that life is complicated. Love is complicated. We make choices every day, and some of those choices have consequences that last a lifetime. Warren chose to keep playing the field instead of committing to Diane. Diane chose to move forward with her life instead of waiting around for Warren. Both of them ended up okay. Both of them had successful lives. But there's still this lingering what if that neither of them can completely shake. What's also interesting about this story is what it reveals about Warren's character growth. The fact that he can admit this regret now shows a level of self-awareness and honesty that's pretty rare, especially for someone of his generation, and especially for someone who spent so much of his life maintaining a certain image. For decades, Warren was a cool, confident playboy who seemed to have no regrets about anything. But now, in his late 80s, he's willing to be vulnerable. He's willing to admit that he made mistakes. He's willing to say that he wishes things had gone differently with Diane. That takes courage. It also doesn't mean he doesn't love Annette, or that he's unhappy with his life now. You can love your current life and still have regrets about the past. You can be grateful for what you have while also acknowledging the opportunities you missed. That's just part of being human. We're complex creatures capable of holding multiple truths at the same time. This story also makes you think about your own life and your own relationships. We all have that one person, don't we? That one relationship that didn't work out, but that we still think about sometimes. Maybe it was a high school sweetheart. Maybe it was someone you dated in college. Maybe it was someone you worked with or met at a party. Whatever the case, there's usually someone in our past who makes us wonder what might have been if circumstances had been different, if timing had been better. if we had been more mature or more ready or braver. The key is learning from those regrets without letting them consume us. Warren seems to have found that balance. He can acknowledge his regret about Diane while still appreciating his life with Annette. He can look back with some sadness while still looking forward with gratitude. That's the healthy way to deal with regret. Not to ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist, but to acknowledge it, learn from it, and then continue living your life as fully as possible. As Warren approaches 90, this revelation feels like part of his legacy. He's not just a handsome playboy or the brilliant filmmaker anymore. He's a complete human being with a full range of emotions and experiences. He's someone who has loved and lost, succeeded and failed, made good choices and bad choices, just like all of us. And by sharing this personal regret, he's given us permission to acknowledge our own. He's shown us that it's okay to look back with some sadness, as long as you keep moving forward with hope. So what can we learn from Warren Beatty's story about Diane Keaton? First, timing matters in relationships. You can meet the right person at the wrong time, and sometimes that means things won't work out no matter how much you care about each other. Second, fear of commitment can cause you to miss out on something wonderful. Warren admits that he let fear hold him back with Diane, and now he regrets it. Third, it's never too late to be honest about your feelings and your regrets. Warren waited until he was 88 to admit this, but better late than never. Fourth, you can have regrets about the past while still being grateful for the present. These things aren't mutually exclusive. And finally, the people who truly matter to us stay with us forever, even if the relationship doesn't work out. Diane clearly still holds a special place in Warren's heart after all these years, and that's actually kind of beautiful. As we wrap up this story, I think it's worth remembering that even the biggest stars, even the people who seem to have it all figured out, are just human beings trying to navigate life the best they can. Warren Beatty may have been Hollywood royalty, but he's dealt with the same kinds of questions about love and loss that all of us face. And the fact that he can admit his regret about Diane shows real growth and real wisdom. It's a reminder that we're never too old to learn, to grow, to reflect, and to be honest about our emotions. If you enjoyed learning about Warren Beatty's surprising revelation and the love story with Diane Keaton, that could have been, please hit that like button right now. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because I bring you the most fascinating Hollywood stories, the secrets and revelations that you won't hear anywhere else. Make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Share this with your friends who love classic Hollywood or who might be dealing with their own regrets about past relationships. Sometimes these stories help us process our own experiences. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Do you have someone from your past that you still think about? Do you think Warren should have stayed with Diane? I read every comment, and I love hearing your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.